evening, sir.
Good evening.
How you doing?
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm taking one down.
Thank you.
Oh, Jesus.
We're ready whenever you are.
Look. Get the pen out. Got the lip gloss on, but didn't get the pen out.
Texas. Oh, that's right. Okay, well, we'll talk about it. I'm not responsible for that. I'm not sure what happened then. Okay, we're on.
She can come on in and Captain will take care of it.
Well, she's on her own.
Yeah, tell her to come on in, the captain will take care of it. We can get it started. Good evening, everyone. Oh, wow.
Push it away from you like this.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. We're going to get started in just a moment. We just had our new system installed, so bear with us as we adjust back and forth, okay? Thanks so much. Just while we're getting set technically, we're going to give you just a moment if you have your telephones with you, your cell phones. If you could just place those on vibrate, that way we can get through uninterrupted. Thanks so much. Captain is going. Captain's just going to bring some. They don't have the bottles, so he'll just bring some. Oh, yeah. That's okay. All righty.
You take it to, you
no,
brought
no,
it to,
go.
just bring another one,
No,
please.
no, give it to her. No, give it to her. Right. No, we're going to get started, so I'll be fine. Pass it. Because we got to get started, we're going to go live, so no, pass it to.
We are live.
Thank you.
All right, so we are live, so we'll take care of any other adjustments a little later, okay? So at this time, we need to get started. Okay. So at this time, we're going to call the Town of Mangonia Park Town Council meeting, April 21st into session. Roll call, please.
Mayor Olberry.
Here.
Vice Mayor Buchanan Webb.
Here.
Councilmember Davis Quince.
Present.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
And Councilmember McConnell.
I'm here.
Thank you so much. All is accounted for. At this time, let us have our invocation, please. Most kind and gracious Father, we thank you again for this day that you've given us and all of the blessings we've experienced thus far. We ask now that as we enter into this session of the elected officials and those who have come now, we ask that all things would be said and done in order, we ask. In Jesus' name, amen. Our pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. You may be seated. So at this time, we're going to attend to our agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or substitutions to the agenda?
None from staff, sir.
Okay. All righty. Any additions, substitutions if needed? Hearing none. Motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Mr. Mayor, so moved that we approve the agenda as submitted.
It has been properly moved and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It is carried. And for those who are in the audience, as well as those who may be online, if ever we have an agenda and there's some items annotated with an asterisk, those items are considered for the consent agenda. At this time, we have none. Are there any items to be considered for the consent agenda?
No, sir.
Hearing none, we're going to continue our program in our meeting, but if I may just take a moment of personal privilege, I just want to say thank you so much to Councilwoman Davis, who, of course, had a passing this, if you don't mind, from her mother passed, so she's with a heavy heart, but she's here to serve, and we thank you for that.
Yes.
Just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for attending. Okay. So with that, we're going to go on in our agenda. Our next item is item 4, and this is a proclamation by Chenmore and Associates, and we do have our representative here. So at this time, we're going to just call you forward and ask, we're going to give the floor to you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Mhm.
We have a presentation, I don't know if it'll be on the screen, but we can pass it out for folks. I'm gonna try to move through it quickly. I know you guys have some other items to get onto, but if you may remember a while ago.
Can you tell them to cite what the changes on the presentation for us, please?
When we get there.
Did the attorney get one?
If you remember I think over a year ago, we came through as we were starting off the process. This is a vulnerability assessment funded entirely by state funds, a grant program that we'll speak to. And we wanted, a town manager asked us to come and present so that you guys could see kind of where we arrived at and answer any questions you might have. So we can go ahead and jump in and start moving through introductions. Tonight it's just myself and Charmaine Emanuels. If you can flip the slides, or if folks can flip them as you go. So on the agenda, we're going to go over again kind of the program that we were working under, Resilient Florida, through what we did on the project, and give you our final rankings. So Resilient Florida program started in 2021. The governor created the program basically to provide funds for municipal governments, county governments to find concerns that they might have with their infrastructure, identify places where sea level rise or climate change may be causing issues, identify where those issues are, and then look for opportunities to fund repairs or hardening of those. So what we did with the vulnerability assessment is, as you can see on the next slide, identified locations where there was flooding, evaluated if those flooding areas impacted any of your infrastructure here in the town, and then we identified what kind of measures or what the concerns might be, and then in the end you can use this information for grant funds and grant applications in the future. And so I'm going to turn it over to Charmaine to talk a little bit about the vulnerability analysis.
So to understand exactly what vulnerability is, if you keep going down, Sherry, to the next slide, just to visualize it for you guys, we're looking both at exposure and sensitivity to critical assets within the town. So exposure is simplified as what is at risk, so the critical assets, the town, and sensitivity is how easily it could be affected. So if you go into the next slide, if you go to the visualization down, Sherry?
Well done.
The fire station.
Yeah, the
graphic.
fire station graphic.
Yeah.
Okay. It basically shows that you have a park and a fire station right next to each other in the image. And if you go over to the next slide, if both of these critical assets that are important to the town are flooded at like a foot or a foot and a half depth, which one is more impactful to the community? So the what's more at risk? So we're looking at a fire station being flooded at a foot. That's a greater risk to our community and any emergency management that we have within our town. So we started this process off with the data collection phase, and we gathered a lot of data from various agencies, starting with the town itself. We also went to Palm Beach County and as well as state agencies such as the FEMA, FDEP, and NOAA. From there, we collected the critical asset database of the town. If you go to the next slide, there's a total of 25 critical assets, and those are the various categories that they fall under. We looked at total of, I believe it's 5 scenarios. We looked at the 2024 base conditions for sea level rise projections. We looked at 2050, which is 25 years in the future. We're looking at intermediate and the intermediate low scenarios, and then we looked at 2080 even further into the intermediate and the intermediate low conditions.
If I can say it, as you can see, those are the requirements from the state. So
Yeah.
everybody that does one of these grants has that 2024, 2050, 2020, or 2080.
80, yeah. With those sea level rise projections. And what we did is we grabbed an existing model that was developed by the South Florida Water Management Districts as part of the flood protection level of service program, and we grabbed that model and it was calibrated to Tropical Storm Eta, which is November 2020, and we grabbed that model and applied those coastal boundary conditions, so the 2050 projections and the 2080 projections, and we looked at 2 different storms. We looked at the 100-year storm and the 500-year storm. And the output of that was a various of scenarios or various of inundation depths for all of those scenarios. And from there, we overlaid the critical assets, the 25 critical assets that we identified on top of each of these inundation depths and grab the information from the model outputs.
Charmaine, if you would, can you get a little bit closer to the mic
Oh.
or pull it closer to
Sorry.
you? I'm sorry.
Okay. And just as she's adjusting, Councilwoman, I'm sorry, Vice Mayor Webb has to step off the desk for just a moment. Okay, you may continue.
If I'll interrupt for 1 second, there's, okay, so this exhibit here, you can see a map where there's significant flooding in the town. This is for, I think, probably the 500-year storm, perhaps. So the actual report that is here on file with the town, but was submitted to the state, is over 100 pages long, and it has all the exhibits for all the different conditions and scenarios. We're going pretty quickly through it tonight, but to just give you a sense, all that stuff is now on file with the DEP, with the state, and they can see that in a 100-year storm, this is what the flooding looks like in the town. 500-year storm, this is what it looks like in 2050 and 2080, that's what it'll look like. So once we get that information, we do a sensitivity analysis where we say, okay, we've got a lift station that's in the middle of this flooding area. We've got a road that's in the middle of this flooded area. Maybe this building perhaps is in the flooded area. What's the concern? So in order to demonstrate how much potential damage there could be, we used Army Corps depth damage relationship. So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has a kind of a criticality analysis where they say, you know, a foot of flooding on a building versus 2 feet of flooding on a building, how much damage is done. So as we walk through the slides here, you'll see if the asset is in a flood-prone area, how much damage would it suffer at that depth? And the following slide, you can see an example of the depth damage curve. So if there's, say, a half a foot of flooding, then you can assume that's roughly 5% damage to the value of the structure. If there's more than a foot of flooding, 12% damage. So, you know, $1 million building, at least $120,000 worth of damage, and so on and so forth. And that's from the Corps. So we try to use things that folks at the state and everybody else, all the other municipalities, are using something that's standardized. So we also have non-habitable structures or facilities on the next slide, like roads, wells, wastewater treatment facilities like a lift station. And using that, we were able to take the maps of the flooded areas, overlay it with things like the town's lift stations, the water treatment plant, and say, how much flooding is there in that location, and what does that amount to? How does it, how can we prioritize that? So on the next slide, you'll see we used a prioritization scheme called APEX, which is an adaptation prioritization exercise, and that way you can kind of cross-compare things that maybe are not similar in any other way, a park versus a lift station. And when you flip through there to the next slide, you can see the final ranking. So we have all 20 assets of the town ranked out, ranked out, but we wanted to show you the top 5. So the 5th one there, the radio tower, that is what is identified by the state as a critical asset as part of a communication network. That, of course, isn't the town's priority. But one of the raw water wells, lift station 10, the treatment plant itself, and lift station 7 were all identified as located in areas that are prone to flooding, also exposed to significant depths of flooding, and also something that would not withstand that depth of flooding without damage. And so what's nice about this is not only do you know that information and you can maybe contact county emergency management to send equipment or crews or what have you to those particular assets that are obviously lift stations, water supply, those are critical things. But also, you can take this and apply for a grant in the coming cycle and say, you know, state of Florida, we told you raw water well 6 is an issue. We'd like to apply for funding to make repairs or harden, maybe raise the structure so that it isn't impacted. We're not going to relocate a well, but maybe we can raise the critical elements of it. A lift station, raise the electrical panel, address maybe the rim of the wet well where water would come in and be a concern. And so that's the real unlock for the town is it's nice to have this information, So, town staff can know in advance of a storm event where to keep their eyes out. But the best thing is you can bring this to your engineer and your other folks, and we put it on a map there. That pretty much wraps it up. But you can bring. What I would recommend is take one or two of these, figure out which one you want to apply for funding, and then do a grant application to the state. See if you can get some state dollars for hardening. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. There is, like I said, a report that's over 100 pages long, and if when you're reading it one night, you come across a question, let Ken know and he'll call me. No problem at all. I'll be happy to answer.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah.
Just before we have any questions or comments, let the record reflect that Vice Mayor Webb is back on the dais. So at this time, anything else before?
Not
any
at all,
questions?
thank you.
Okay, so at this time, we'll see if there's any questions or comments as it relates to the study.
No.
Council, any questions or comments?
Great presentation.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it's quite a bit to absorb, but I see it's thorough, and it can bring some preliminary planning for necessary
Mhm.
funding and requests, so that they thank you for that. I think
Happy
the
to do
town manager may have had some questions, but he was called outside, so let's see.
It's scheduled for a vote, so when we get to that point, we'll see if there's any additional questions or comments and input from council, from
It
administration.
is scheduled for a vote, you say?
Yes. Yes, okay. And at that time, we'll see if there's any input from administration, but just as it relates to the presentation by council, if there's no other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none.
Thank you.
So if you want to remain with us, we do have it calendared for an action coming shortly, so if you'd like to
Thank
stay
you.
with us.
If I can just say, everything looks great.
Okay.
Since the last time I was here, the
Good.
system, you guys did a great job.
Oh, thanks, we appreciate it.
Thank
Okay. All right, thanks so much. So with that, we're going to move on, and we're going to get into the action items in just a moment. So at this point in time, we're going to see if there's anything from our Palm Beach County League of Cities Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a reminder, the next league meeting is actually tomorrow at 11:30 at the Green Acres Community Center. I gave you that address at your prior meeting. I told you, I think at the last meeting, that Alexia Cox, the state attorney for the 15th Circuit, is speaking tomorrow. The title of her presentation is Inside the State Attorney's Office and How the Office Benefits Municipalities. So I don't know if you can sneak in an RSVP at this point, but if you're in planning to go, get with Manager Metcalf. But I just wanted to give you the presentation. Thank you, Mayor.
Oh, thanks, we appreciate it. Any questions or comments for our attorney? Okay. If not, then we're going to go on. We're moving on to where now at item 6, and this is first item is item 6A. And this is resolution number 2026-07, approving and authorizing the mayor to execute and enter into state-funded grant agreement, FPN 546811-1-54-01. So at this point, Amity?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll read the resolution by title. As you said, it's resolution number 2026-07, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Mangonia Park approving and authorizing the mayor to execute and enter into a state-funded grant agreement for FPN 456811-1-54-01 with the Florida Department of Transportation for the Mangonia Park Mill and Repaving Program, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Thank you so much. You've heard it read by title. Are there any questions or comments on the part of council? Any questions or comments?
I think it's great. Yeah, I think it is. Does it indicate how soon it would be responded to, the application process?
So,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, so what we're doing, this will be sent up immediately. They know that we're working on the bid documentation right now, so very soon.
Okay.
So it's, this, I guess at this point, we're the holdup, so they're waiting on this. It won't take long from there. So we anticipate mid-June having this underway.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments by council? Okay. And of course, as it relates to just the funding itself, that process we've already undertaken. And so this is just to let them know, as the town manager stated, that we're now ready to move forward, and this is necessary to get that done. Okay. Any other questions or comments? If not, we'll see if there's anything from the floor. Any questions or comments as it relates to resolution number 2026-07? Floor is open for public comment. Okay, seeing and hearing none, we'll close the floor to public comment. We're back now at the dais to see if there's any questions or comments. If not, Motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, so moved that we approve resolution number 2026-07.
Excuse me.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second?
Has been properly moved and seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis Quince,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Buchanan Webb.
Yes.
Mayor Alberry.
Yes.
It passes unanimously.
Thank you so much. Our next item is item 6B, and this is for resolution number 2026-08, and this is adopting the comprehensive vulnerability assessment as presented by Jim Moore and Associates just a moment ago. So at this point in time, we're going to see if there's any questions or comments that you may have. If there's none from council, we'll go to our administration to see if there's anything to be shared there.
No, sir, this is the next step in us getting reimbursed for all of their hard work.
Okay. Alrighty, and as stated, the document has been submitted to the town, and so we do have that 100-page document here. Okay, great. Alrighty, since there's no other questions or comments by council or from administration, we'll open the floor to see if there's any comments from the public. Seeing and hearing that there's no comment from the public, we'll close the floor to public comment. And we're back now to the dais to see if there's any last-minute questions or comments. Hearing none. Motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, so moved we approve resolution number 2026-08.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, has been properly moved and seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? And my apologies, did we have that read by title? I may have omitted.
Mr. Mayor, I let you do it. You
Okay.
basically read it by title when you read the item into
Yes.
the record, so I didn't interrupt you, but thank you.
Okay, okay, thanks so much. Okay, all righty, has been properly moved and seconded. And are there any questions on the motion?
No.
Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis Quince,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Buchanan Webb,
Yes.
and Mayor Alberry.
Yes.
It passes unanimously.
Thank you so much, and apologies to our attorney, didn't mean to steal your thunder.
Steal away, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Well, thanks so much. So at this time, we're going to see if there's any comments from the public. The floor is now open for public comment. Any comment from the public? Okay, seeing that there is no comment from the public, then we'll close the floor to public comment. Now we're going to go to our reports. Ken?
Miscellaneous business.
Yes, sir.
My
Let's do-
apologies, I'm skipping right through the agenda. We're now on item 7, my apologies. At this time, we're looking at 7A, and this is a discussion regarding the approval of the revised employee manual handbook. Ken?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, so in your packet, you do have a copy of this. We do have a slightly updated, shouldn't say updated, but neater copy that Sherry has distributed to you. And simply put, this is something that we've needed to do for several years. Now, what it's done is it has incorporated the old handbook, and we've updated some language a little bit, and we've enhanced it a little bit. We've been a little bit more thorough as far as the evaluation process, the employee appeal process for disciplinary actions. There is a smoking policy while on duty that's in there that was not in there before. But this was distributed to you multiple times, but more recently, about 3 meetings ago. I'll be happy to answer any questions for you or go over any fine-tuning that you may want. I will add, because I know this was the interest of a couple of you, there is a very detailed vehicle policy in there. So this has been a long time coming, has been reviewed by the attorney, and while she's quick to say that she's not an employment or labor attorney, she made some suggestions, we tweaked that, and now it's back in front of you. About 2 years ago, the insurance company looked at it, and they assured me there's nothing in there that should land us in court. So, any questions, I'll be happy to answer it.
Thank you so much. And we'll see if there's anything the committee has, just based upon your review.
No, like Manager Metcalf said, I flagged a few things, and I think he made some updates based on those comments, but otherwise, everything looked good.
Okay, well, thanks so much. So we'll see if there's any questions or comments. Recommendations, comments from council?
So if it's approved, will the insurance look at it again? The approved copy?
Yes, we'll give them an approved copy. Mhm. Definitely.
Okay, all righty. Other questions or comments? I know we've sort of gone through it and over a period of time, but maybe had some meetings or comments, recommendations with the town manager?
And Mr. Mayor, I'll say this is more for the employees to clarify things for them than it is for management or supervision. But also, there have been a couple of questions about job descriptions and whatnot. That is going to be brought back to you as we're revising some of those and making language in that a little bit clearer. But the handbook update is a major step.
No, certainly. And we do understand that it is a working document, a living document, so it is subject to revisions from time to time as needed. In fact, we had to put in a few policies that we didn't have before. That is sort of illustrative of the fact that it's a living document. Okay. So any questions or comments? No. If there are no questions or comments from council, we'll have a motion.
Mr. Mayor, so move that we approve revised handbook.
The motion has been made to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Has been properly moved and seconded. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis Wentz,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Buchanan Webb,
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Okay.
did you vote?
Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't hear her.
sorry. Yes.
Mayor Alberry,
Yes.
it passes unanimously.
Thank you so much. Our next item is item 7B. And this is a request for the authorization to purchase and install 2 dousing pumps. Of course, this is for the ammonia and polyphosphate and at the water treatment plant. Ken?
Mr. Mayor, you pronounce that better than I ever could. And our department head's not here. I'm not sure what happened there, but I'll do my best on it. And I've heard him present this a couple of times now, so I should pretty much have it. So this is authorization for us to buy, and I'm going to put it this way. In your packet, there's a quote for 1 polyphosphate and 1 ammonia pump. I'm going to make the request that we order 2 each, even though we do not have the quote in there. And basically, you can take that quote and double it. That's going to be your worst case scenario, but we are working to get a little bit of a discount. What these pumps do is these keep your chemicals right at the water plant. And these particular pumps are about 12 years old. There is a 2-year warranty on each one once we purchase it. This is a sole vendor or sole provider, if you will. And this is just something that's needed. The utility staff has been making do with chlorine pumps, and that's, to their credit, they've made it work, but it's time to go ahead and put the right stuff in place. And like Ernest was saying this morning, when he came in, there's like 2 big buckets of just spare parts for over the years that they've been switching out. So it's time to replace these, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have on top of what I've explained.
Thank you so much. And of course, we did get an explanation at the last meeting, and if you've had your one-on-ones with Ken, he would have shared some information as well. But we're going to see if there's any questions or comments by council prior to the vote. Any questions or comments?
My only question is, being that we have a budget for some purchases, you suggested doubling this quoted amount?
So that's
Is that-
going to be about 11,400, if I'm doing my math right, something like that.
And how does that balance in the budget?
Not well, but we need to do it. We do have contingency, but we also have a capital item that we haven't touched yet for the water, so this would just have to fit under there. This is something, when we were doing our budget, this was not something that was on our list. This is unexpected. And just to be forewarned, we're going to have a few of these as we discover old parts that are now failing, but wasn't budgeted, but we can make it work.
Okay.
Other questions or comments?
So, now, if I understood it right, the ones that are on there can't get parts for them no more.
That's correct.
They're too old. The new pumps, they can be rebuilt, and they also, in a lot of the bigger plants, they change them weekly. They're saying that they need to at least be changed monthly because the material they are pumping actually eats the pumps up. So they need to be changed monthly. And they can be rebuilt. The new ones can be rebuilt. You can buy kits. And if I understood it right, the people at the water plant will know how to rebuild the pumps. In other words, they're gonna go to school, or somebody's gonna come and teach them how to rebuild the pumps. And then, like I say, the new ones can be rebuilt. The old ones, can't get parts for them anyway, so they're just garbage.
Okay, other comments or questions?
Is that about,
That's better than what I could explain. Yes.
Okay, anything else, McConnell?
well, my concern was, can they be rebuilt? And they say, yes, they can be rebuilt.
So
They
when,
sell kits for them, so when the internal parts start going bad, they can rebuild them. They can put new parts in.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty, any other questions or comments from council? Okay. Alrighty, good, so there are, I know quite oftentimes in pumps, there's those diaphragms, and those things are generally rubber, so they will be eaten up by different types of chemicals. So Ken, from the financial standpoint, and no question was asked earlier, so in our capital fund, will we be able to absorb this based upon what we are anticipating? Because quite oftentimes when we're going through the budget, we will anticipate the best that we can, and we'll allocate dollars to the anticipated expenditures. How does that square with the capital, first and foremost?
so, Mr. Mayor, we were very fortunate, Ernest and crew, when they basically rebuilt the lift station at Channel 12, we were able to do the majority of that work, so that saved us about $30,000 there. So I'm going to try not to spend that $30,000 multiple times, but we do have that to fall back on.
Okay,
So
oh, good. And in our contingency, let's just say that we didn't have the $30,000 there. We only had what we budgeted in our contingency.
So what we would, I don't know the contingency number off the top of my head, I apologize, but I think it is possible, and this is, this could be part of our budget discussion too. You could get to a point, especially with utilities and the unknown, where you are actually tapping into your reserves a little bit. And that would necessitate a budget amendment here. So that would be the worst case, obviously, that we have to tap into reserves. That would certainly be brought to council for a discussion, and that's certainly a last resort.
Okay. Alrighty, so the estimated $30,000 that we're able to save, that's unobligated at
Yes,
this
sir.
point, as we speak? Okay. Alrighty. Other questions or comments?
And Mr. Mayor, Ernest is here now, so if you have questions for the director, now's a good time.
Certainly. Alrighty, so we'll just have, come forward and just state your name and address for the record. Well, we know who you are, but for the public.
Good evening.
Good
How's
evening.
everyone doing? Council, member, Ken, ladies.
Okay, and just state your name.
My name is Ernest Cadet,
Okay, and your title is?
Utility Director.
Okay, yeah, just for the public and for the record. Okay, we're currently discussing the request for the dowsing pumps.
Yes, sir.
We've had a general explanation, I think, over once or twice, but if there's any general information you want to share with us as well, as it relates to the pumps and the necessity of the pumps.
I can't stress to you how important these pumps are, because I'm sure Ken had already told you a couple of weeks ago we had a problem with the ammonia pump going down. There was no backup. The backup that we did have, because of the internal organs were dry rotted, we could not get anything up and running. So the chlorine pumps that Ken ordered for us, we was able to get the chlorine pump to use it as a ammonia pump, because Florida statute states that we need to give the residents at least 30 days before we went on a free burn. And because the pump went out, we had to immediately figure out how are we gonna get the ammonia pump back up. So, again, like I said, luckily we had 4 pumps for the chlorine, so we just took one of those and used it for the ammonia side. Right now, I think it took us almost a day and a half to get the monochloramines back, but the plant is running back 100%. For the polymer pump, we tried to use the backup polymer pump for the ammonia. It was dry rotted in the inside too. So what I want to do, well, what we are currently doing, every month we're rotating a chlorine pump to keep it 100% running. Right now we have 3 chlorine pumps, and the other one is connected to the ammonia, but there's no backup. So I can't stress to you how urgent this is to get these pumps in. Right now, even if you order those 2, they're a month behind because of the tariff and everything. So I highly recommend 2 ammonia and 2 polymer pumps. And for the polymer, if the polymer goes out, we would have to try to use one of the chlorine pumps to try to get it operational. But right now, like I said, I can't stress to you how dire need we are in those pumps. And there's no spares out there. I tried to ask them for spares. Me and Ken sat down and we discussed that for the 4 pumps that we need, I was going to talk to Brian to try to get a discount. So Brian is in the works of trying to give us a discount on 4 pumps, but again, we need the 2 ASAP.
Okay, we appreciate that additional information. I'll turn it over in just a moment. Now, there's no local vendors that sell them?
There are, but the problem is it's still a tariff weight. You know, everything's based on where we get them from. Local, because we deal with Odyssey, and Odyssey actually give us a good deal on chlorine. I think we should stick with them.
And we do have an agreement with Odyssey. That's who we do our
Yes.
chemicals from.
Yes.
Alrighty, but no pumps on the shelf at this point?
No, there is no backup. If there need be, like I said, we would have to rig up the chlorine pump, but still, the internal organs aren't designed to pump polymer. So we may come across another problem because polymer's a lot thicker. And the ammonia is like water. The chlorine is like water also. So trying to suck something through something that small, it may cause some type of other problem.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments from the council? Okay, understanding the urgency of it all, I think is evident. So with that, if there's no other questions or comments from council?
No.
Okay, motion, please.
It just needs to get done as soon as possible,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay, all righty. And unfortunately, Home Depot don't sell them, so.
No, sir.
Neither
Okay, so-
will Lowe's.
Right. Okay, so with that, motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, so move that we request authorization to purchase and install 2 dosing pumps.
Okay. Just a question on I'm sorry, let's see, we'll have a second, then a question on the motion, see if we.
Yeah, I was
Well,
gonna
actually, at
ask,
this
I was gonna say, are we gonna do the 4 now, or do the 2 and then come back for the other 2?
That could be part of your motion.
4 if at all
Yeah.
possible.
Okay, so I'm requesting authorization to purchase and install 4 dosing pumps,
2 each.
2 each, 2 ammonia and 2 polyphosphate.
Okay. All right, so the motion is to purchase 2 ammonia pumps and 2 polymer pumps. That is the motion. Is there a second to that?
Second?
Has been properly moved and seconded. Any questions on the motion?
I just want to know what they told, but it's okay.
Okay. Councilman Davis, you have a?
No, it's okay.
Okay. All righty, so with that, if there's no questions on the motion, sorry. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis West,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember McConnell,
Yes,
Vice Mayor Buchanan Webb,
Yes.
Mayor O'Hara.
in a good place. Okay?
Thank you
And
very
thanks.
much.
And thank you. We appreciate all you're doing out there. Thanks so much. Okay, so with that, we're going to move on our agenda. Our next item is item 8, and this is public comment. At this time, we open the floor to any comment that may be forthcoming from the public. The floor is open for any public comment.
No one online. Is there anyone online?
Just me,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
just me.
All righty, so we'll just leave it open for a moment. Okay, seeing that there's no comment from the public, we'll close the floor to public comment. At this time, we're going to go to item 9, and these are our reports. We're going to begin with our town manager. Ken?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, I'll run through these rather quickly, not to bore you to death. The mayor said it earlier, but heartfelt condolences to Councilmember Davis Quince and her family on the loss of her mom. You have our prayers. Want to congratulate Town Council on this amazing setup here tonight. This is something that doesn't happen unless you order it to happen. So congratulations to council for this. And I want to thank the town clerk for her leadership in getting this done in her office. There was a lot of hard work, a lot of communication between herself and the vendor and the IT guy, Tony. And so congratulations to her for doing that. Great work. Just congratulations to everyone on making this happen. So I do want to thank the Utilities Department for their great efforts in the most recent incident last week with the water line that was hit. Very fast response. Thank you so much, Ernest, to you and your guys. Just to let everyone know, there's a lot of code enforcement activity going on. We have a lot of opportunities out there. Darian has a very long list right now. And it is a slow process, but he's working through those the best he can. National Day of Prayer Luncheon will be here on Thursday, May 7th at noon. We're emphasizing for the seniors, but of course, obviously, we hope council can be here. We're lining up ministers to do different types of prayers for that. We talked a little bit at the last meeting about our budget kickoff meeting, and I think we indicated that needed to be the week of May 18th. Only thing is, I haven't received any real feedback on what day was better for everyone. That Monday is the 18th. Tuesday, the only problem with Tuesday is it's our regular meeting night, so we might want to either avoid that day or have the workshop and not the meeting. I'm flexible there. Of course, Wednesday or Thursday is fine, and we could definitely do Friday if you wanted. So just really need to etch something in stone on that date whenever we can.
Okay. Ken, if I may, may I
Yes, sir.
propose that we just do the Thursday? And that's not written in stone, but at least that will, now others can respond to you, let you know that's not convenient.
May 21st.
A suggestion for
Yes,
Thursday,
sir.
and if that's not convenient, just let Ken know, and at least that will kind of get it rolling.
What would be the ending time? That would be my only conflict.
The-
Graduation.
We always say 3:30, but typically it does wind down earlier.
Thursday?
But we'll say 3:30.
Okay, all righty. So we want to make sure we give you some type of direction right now, but I see that there's a conflict already for that, so we'll back that off.
My son graduation day.
Okay, all righty. So Tuesday, of course, is a possible council meeting. We don't want to do that and then a council meeting. So Wednesday, Monday, Wednesday, or
Thursday or Friday.
Monday or Wednesday, for the most part.
Any day but 21st.
Okay, all righty.
It's fine.
Okay, so we'll just do, then we suggest Monday, and if there's a problem with that,
Fine.
then just let Ken know, and then we'll come back and.
Very good.
Righty.
May 18th.
Yeah, so for
Monday,
clarity, Monday, Wednesday, or Wednesday is looking like
Yeah,
the best
Monday,
day for.
Monday the 18th would be
Monday.
for me.
Right, so Monday, and if there's something different, the majority gets a hold of you and let you know that if that Wednesday is better, then we go with Wednesday, if that's the majority's pleasure. That way we don't have to bring it back, we can go ahead and just schedule.
Right.
Okay?
And we'd like to start about 8:30, and we'll have coffee, donuts, whatever we need
Cereal
to
and
get us
fruit.
started.
Cereal and fruit.
We can do some fruit. And we'll always, provide
Avocado.
lunch, so that'll be included as well. Maybe a working lunch, but we'll have that here, probably subs again.
That's fine.
Okay. All righty.
And wanted to announce our plans for the summer reading program are up and running. This begins on Monday, June 8th, of course, and it is for students that have completed their kindergarten year all the way through rising 8th graders this year. And that'll be Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., and that runs for 6 weeks, starting June 8th. And just to encourage everyone, there's some really good stuff in that weekly manager's report, so I encourage you to read it. You may find something that you didn't know, and certainly when you see something you're not sure about, give me a call. I enjoy the weekend calls. It gives us more time just to talk. And Mr. Mayor, if at all possible, I'd like to see you and Attorney Mitty after the meeting to discuss a couple of ordinances that we've brought up before.
Certainly.
And that's all that I have, unless you have questions for me.
Well, thank you so much. Any questions for Ken?
No.
Okay. If not, then we'll go now to our law enforcement captain. Okay. Any questions or comments for Captain Thomas? Okay. If not, then we'll go to a meeting.
No report, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Okay. All right, thanks so much. Seeing that there's no information or no reports, we're going to move now to our council comments, and we're going to begin again with our heartfelt sympathy to Councilwoman Davis. Anything at this time? Okay. All righty. Councilman McConnell?
Nothing.
Okay. Councilwoman Johnson?
I know there was an effort to contact me. I know there's something wrong with my phone, and I don't know what's wrong with it. I can't call in, can't call out, no calls in right now. So if you're trying to reach me, send me a text or put it in, contact me through WhatsApp until I can get this issue resolved, please.
Certainly. Okay.
I did see a message from Pastor Ferguson. I'm assuming it's about the prayer, National Day of Prayer, but I haven't been able to respond to him as yet.
Okay.
But I'll talk with you maybe tomorrow. We'll get a chance to clarify what the concerns are. But I'm willing to work with that, definitely.
Well, thanks so much. And in all seriousness, just give it to an 8-year-old. They'll figure it out. Well, seriously, they'll figure it out for you.
I'll find me one.
8, 9, 10, 8 or older. Okay. All righty. Vice Mayor, you have anything? No. Okay. All righty. The only thing I have is I just wanted for those who didn't know, not Sunday past, but the Sunday before, we were fortunate enough to take some kids down to the very last Miami Heat game. That came through our activity department. Had a great time. Got an opportunity to meet a former player and a current player. And so they had the time of their life. And so thanks so much for staff assisting with that, and to our activity coordinator for working to get that all done. They have the opportunity to do something they may have never done in their lifetime. And so our youth council primarily, and then we kind of took somebody, and so we had a great time. Yes. They needed a chaperone, so I went.
Oh, yes, of course.
Y'all didn't ask me.
It was limited. It was last minute, so it was
okay.
sort of limited.
I
First
couldn't-
of
I
our
couldn't.
10 youth council members, then some of our other youth, and
It's okay.
okay,
I couldn't
okay.
have gone anyway.
Certainly. So we had a good time. So with that, I just wanted to share that, and I felt Ken would have had some pictures that I had sent, but to put up there, we could have seen those, but they'll hit our website. So check the website shortly. Okay. So with that, if there's nothing else for the good of the order, yeah, motion has been made that we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Has been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. It is carried. Thanks so much, and to all, have a great evening. We appreciate your attendance and any information you have provided. Thanks so much. Have a great one.